this panel. So let me tell others that we had another speaker, Aysi. She's from Turkey. She sent a couple of texts, so probably I will try to read that from the email if that is possible. We'll be missing you, Marco. Marco is from Australia. Probably his family got COVID, so I hope that everyone is safe and sound. But in any way, we have a great topic for today's discussion, and where else we can discuss this apart from WISE. So we have a beautiful panel topic, which is entrepreneurship, global collaboration, and of course, what's happening worldwide regarding investment. For this, we have diversified background of people. We have Krishna, he's from exactly investment background. We have Hamid, he runs a beautiful accelerator and a fund, which is B Incubators. And he can, of course, input many things that is happening in the new investment sector that's going on from the VC's perspective. And we have Nina, she's a business coach. She's mentoring and guiding many entrepreneurs across the world. And I know her in person. She's a beautiful lady with full of energy. So always good to have a woman in the panel. Me, myself, Arijit Bhattacharyya, as you know that I'm a good friend of Prashun. Apart from that, I run an accelerator and a fund called Co-Innovate Ventures, registered in Sydney, Australia, along with my partner, Marco Zamarelli, and we have a couple of global footprints. And we run a beautiful ecosystem called World Leader Summit with 95 countries business ecosystem, wherein we try to do many good works, working very closely with entrepreneurs. I started my journey back in 1998 as India's one of the first game development studio called Virtual Infocom. Started back, of course, with many passion, failed multiple times and then grow, and then thought that let me give back to the community while building the organization so far so good, big and sizable. So we became partner with multiple different kind of organizations worldwide, and eventually thought that let us create a vibrant and thriving hand-holding supporting ecosystem, just like Prashun and a couple of others like Hamid and Nina and Krishna. We are doing the similar kind of activities. Entrepreneurship, if we are talking about that same very term, it has been probably defined by many people in many ways. Some people say that if you are unique and if you have complete different kind of diversified kind of business, then you are entitled to become an entrepreneur. Some people say that if you are in the traditional business, then you are a businessman, you are not an entrepreneur. Some people say that if you are innovative enough and your business model is innovative, then you are an entrepreneur. We are diluting a lot of things probably, but from my perspective, if you are doing good, man, if you are an entrepreneur or a businessman, you are doing good. So let me not take this mic, rather let me give this mic to my co-panelists. I have Nina, who will go first because she's a woman. So woman always is right. She cannot be wrong. So Nina, what do you feel? What is entrepreneurship, and how do you feel that an entrepreneur should grow in today's ecosystem post-COVID, after pandemic? The entire situation of entrepreneurship has been shifted 360 degrees. Your inputs, please.
So firstly, hi to everyone that's listening. I wanted to say that I see you. I don't see you physically, but I know that you're there. And thank you for joining us today on this webinar. Now, even if you take one little thing away from this today, the point of us being here is not for ourselves, it's about you. So I don't like to talk about myself so much, but sometimes we share our journeys because something might resonate with you along your journey. And the whole point of working for yourself and finding out what really ticks within you, because we could all be accountants and lawyers and dentists and doctors if we wanted to, but does it mean that we're happy doing that job? And the answer is probably going to be no. I work with UFC fighters, MMA fighters, boxers, mainly people in elite sports, which sounds a little bit odd, but it gets your attention. But the thing is, I think I really know how they feel because I have had lots of twists and turns in my life. I'm very much a humanitarian, but I know what it takes for your mindset to get you off the floor when your bones have literally broken and your body's given up. You actually win or lose before you go into that fight. And we are all fighting, whether we want to accept it or not, with our own lives. You know, we have this life that we've been giving, and we're constantly having doors closed in our face, and we think, well, why isn't it working for me? It's working for Arijit is working for Hamid. Why isn't it working for me? And the answer is, it's not meant for you. So you really, really must have faith in your journey. You need to understand your why. Why do you want to do what you're wanting to do? What is the reason? And it can't be just the money, because after a while, if you're doing it just for the money, you lose interest, you get bored, it becomes mundane. It's almost a chore. The people that you're working with are not people you really get on with. Whereas if you focus on doing something you're passionate about, work feels like it's pleasurable, you know, it's a passion. I am a public speaker, which I love to do. I'm an activist, which I love to do, but I also love coaching people, because the transition that you get from having an idea to making it a reality and watching them go onto their journey and almost then passing it on, it's a magical moment. So if you're out there and you have an idea, these are the tips I would give to you. I would say write your idea down and really sort of have a little brainstorming session. So get a pen and paper or a Word document out and write down what you really want to do and why you want to do it. And from there, do some mini sections. So break it right down. It's like a recipe. You don't bake a cake with just one thing. You have to have different ingredients. You put them together. It takes time and patience of mixing and cooking into the oven, and that cake then is beautifully baked and you can eat it and share it, which is what we're supposed to do with life. It's not just about you, it's about everyone around you. So whatever your idea is, write it down. As I said, break it right down. So have subsections. So one section, you could have 3 underneath it and then have an action next to it. And just slowly but surely work through it. And what you don't know, ask. You know, ask, you can Google everything, or you can ask one of the panelists here. You can contact us. Arijit is a wealth of knowledge. He's like a little library of, he knows literally everything. But, you know, we're more than welcome to help you on your journey, because if we had had you helping us, it would have helped us not make the mistakes. I know that most of us here have written various documents. I know I've written a book myself. But, you know, just reach out to who you think may be able to help you, especially if you're looking for investors, because often we have this huge idea and we have nobody backing us because we're not all fortunate to have that money in the bank to start with. So you need to know how to go to the investors and pitch yourself, the right words, the right mannerisms, because people like you or dislike you within the first 7 seconds of meeting you. So it's really, really important that you are memorable, that you say the right things, that you smile, because when you smile, everyone around you smiles, and that you're relaxed. But when you're pitching an idea that's coming from here, your heart, they will feel it. They feel the genuine authenticity behind your idea. And if you are passionate about what you're doing, more people want to help you come forward with it. So that's my part on it. I know the others are going to give you some more technical and probably statistical information, but I'm very much about love. And why is that important? It's important because when you love yourself or your idea or your country or whatever it is, you're passionate about it, you're happy about it, you want to share it. So I see myself almost as this person with a very good business mind, but also someone extending you that support, somebody giving you that love and motivation to say, it's not going to be easy, but you've got this. Make a start. You have to make a start and be brave in order to get to the finish line. So I'm with you on this, and I know everyone on the panel here is going to give you some amazing tips and quick fire things to get you all rifled up so you can actually see the life that you're dreaming of. Thank you, Arijit.
Super, Nina. To be very honest, if I go through the entire speech of yours, it's actually driving from passion. And believe me or not, there are many women, they are actually watching you. They have been invited. So I know how many of them are actually watching you right now. You're an inspiration for sure. And when we talk about entrepreneurs, when you talk about pitching to the right kind of investors, let me take this question to Krishna. Krishna, you have been listening to many pitch of entrepreneurs, startups, SMEs. They're looking for raising funds. They're asking for money. They are looking for hand-holding. They are looking for growth. So if we talk about funding and investment, for sure we have bootstrap capital, we have seed capital, we have growth capital, we have impact funds, we have various different kind of terminologies. But for the sake of the panel, because the subject line is really, really interesting, if you can enlighten us about when somebody just started their business, looking for money because they want to go faster with a joint handholding with another investor, how do you screen them? How do you define them? How do you check them out? And what is your secret sauce?
Thank you. Thank you so much. First of all, I want to thank Prasoon and his team and Arijit for this opportunity to talk at this panel. Coming to your question, it is, let me give you the genesis. Like you said, mostly people start with their own money, what we call as founders, friends and family. And there is another one, F used, is fools. Okay, so there are a lot of people who believe in your idea without knowing whether it's going to yield any result or not. So we call it friends, family, and fools round. Okay, so that's the first round that happens. And after that, you need to grow to the next level. Then you're looking at, let's say you are at the MVP stage and you're getting some kind of a validation from the market. Some customer is interested in your product. And that is when you can go to an interested investor. That could be an angel investor who has got some level of expertise in your product that you're trying to build or the sector that you are addressing. And that person will not only give you the money, he will also be able to mentor you, coach you, so that you are able to develop a solution that is acceptable to the client. And you can actually go to more and more clients. And sometimes what will happen is the client sees there's a huge opportunity, and in a personal capacity, they will also get interested to invest. So these are all, we call it as the angel rounds. And after that is done, you go to the next level, we call the super angel level. And super angels are those who can say, have a big appetite, who have better connects, and they'll be, like say, you can call it as high net worth individuals, and they'll be able to invest on their own quite a sizable amount. And they may be also part of family offices. And these are the people who come in and they help you and go to the next level. After that, you go to micro VC, VC, and so on. And what happens is, for every investor, wherever you belong to, the success of that investor depends on the next round that the startup is able to raise or the entrepreneur is able to raise. So if, for example, the angel round happens and beyond that it's not happening, then actually this startup has failed. And also you can say the angel himself who came in with interest, with a lot of knowledge about what the sector is, he or she has not been able to contribute. And that also is the reason this failure happens. And we've seen many times that pitches after pitches people bring, and they're great ideas, but poor execution. And this is one of the reasons for failure, right? They all start with great promise, and you see the number of failures is almost 95%, only 5% success. And we see somewhat higher rate in Israel. It's almost 65% success and 35% failures. It's because they are more and more innovative, and there's big demand for innovative technologies, and there's a lot more capital. So it's like you heard of even 20 million, at the seed round. So that's what happens in Israel, right? So there's so much demand for technology that almost every country has set up a center there to work with the Israeli entrepreneurs. So that's a different ecosystem altogether. I think similar ecosystem exists in the Valley, and right, majority of the successful entrepreneurs in most countries flip and they come out to the Valley because they get a better growth, they'll get better value for what they're trying to do compared to their own local economies. And we have seen another thing is every country has its own capacity. That's a level to which they can invest. For example, take India. They can go up to a certain level, let's say about Series A. But beyond that, the startup has to go outside because there is no appetite, there is no capacity for the investor to put money in, and there is no investor available also in a particular sector, then the startup has to go outside the country. And this happens in every country, right? And finally it end up in the valley or, such of those developing, I would say, markets. From the developing markets like India, they go into developed, advanced markets like the Silicon Valley or even Europe, and they'll be able to raise further rounds. So this is the way, it works. And to answer also, the last question that you raised, I want to say most of the time it's all about the team. So when we are looking at whom we are investing in, we look at the team, the capacity to invest, whether they had any success in the past, and we invest in the team. We believe and trust what the entrepreneur brings and their co-founders. So we analyze all that and then see who is backing them up, who is the advisory board, and so on. Based on that, we build the decision whether to invest or not.
Beautiful, beautiful, Krishna. Thank you so much. With this note, I will go to my dearest friend, Amit, because when we are hearing about Krishna, talking about mainly on how they are filtering out all those entrepreneurs, how they are banging on the team, how they are checking their portfolio and the details. I would love to ask you one very simple question, Amit. Do you feel that the entire business cycle and the entire investment cycle in terms of investing into new generation, new breed of entrepreneurs, a little bit of updating, or do you feel that there is an investment strategy that is actually coming up in a complete new dimension and format? Your inputs, please, Amit.
Okay, thank you, Arijit. Hello to Nina, hello to Krishna, hello to Arijit. It's my pleasure to meeting you here. Yes, as Arijit said, he's my close friend. However, we didn't meet each other face to face yet because of the COVID, but we are the close friend. About the question, Arijit, honestly, after the COVID, we receive, as an investor, we receive two kinds of the plans and also two kinds of the startups coming to us. The first one, they are so serious and they are super professional, and we really enjoy to talking with them, debating with them. And the second group are very, very, very senior, and we cannot accept them. We think during the COVID, they was, they didn't have anything to do, and they just start thinking and writing some idea and coming to the VC investors, and they are not familiar with the process for the investment. At the first one is the pre-seed, the seed, the after seed, and they have to go into angel investor, to VC investor, and the other ones. Because of that, in my view, I think it's better now. We have the two aspects for the innovation ecosystem around the world. The first one is better now to empower the teams around the world. I mean, it's better we having the introduction season to introducing the standards for the investment. Now we have a lot of accelerator around the world, and now they are investing on teams. It is great, it's very nice. But in my view, now the accelerators are not familiar with the principles of the investment. They just giving the teams from around the world. They try to giving, for example, 10 to 20% of the share and giving a small piece of the money to them and telling to them, okay, you can go and doing everyone you want. The first one. And the second group, and the second one, in my view, is better. Now we are receiving, as I told you, a lot of the professional plans, professional startups, they giving the idea, they need money. And around 90% of them, now they concentrate on the health sector because the COVID was an illness. And the majority of them now concentrate on the, the health sector. And the other sides, the other sections now is not, in the plans we receive. It's better now the startups going to doing the new ones, the new things in the different sector, not just in the health sector. According to the reputable survey in 2021 in Malaysia, around 73, I think, yes, 73% of the startups prefer to be connected with the other countries for fundraising. But when they start to talking with them, with the investor from the other countries, they are not familiar with the principles of the investment from the other countries. For example, we received one plan from Indonesia. As you know, the B Venture is located in the Oman and try to invest on the startups in the Gulf region. We received one plan from Indonesia, and the breaking point in that plan was 2.5 years. In the Gulf region, the plans more than 1.5 years for the breaking point is not acceptable for the investors. Because of that, they miss, this opportunity. In my view, is better now for the new standards, for the new, the connection ways with the other countries and the other investors from around the world. We're having the new standards, the teams knowing the standards about the different region they want to having the fundraising. As you know, the most breaking point is in US, after that in Europe, and after that in the Middle East. For example, in America, in the North America, the breaking point is 5 years, is acceptable. In the Europe is 3 years, and in the Middle East is around 1.5 to 2 years. This is one standard. But any accelerator, any startups, they are not familiar with these standards for the pitch deck in the other countries. In summary, and to conclude, in my view, is better same as this community, the WISE, and also the World Leader Summit and the other ones, try to introducing the new standards to the community and giving the methods to teams, to startups, to empowering them for fundraising in the other regions.
True. And in fact, we did that in 10th of March in Dubai, but we will not speak about the same because this is not the right kind of discussion. But I would love to ask Nina about something which is probably interesting for all the audience. Then I'll go back to the question which has been asked in the chat box for Krishna. Okay, Nina, you have both of those people who are the torchbearer for investment world, of course, from India and from the Gulf region and the new generation of investment that's happening. You have been talking with many business leaders. You have been mentoring and guiding a lot of entrepreneurs. You are a kind of business coach who can practically find out the gem out of anyone's heart. That's how I define you. So when you talk to an entrepreneur and they're looking for fundraising and you help them, what is your opinion? How much they know about the new generation of investment that's happening and how much they are looking for a partner rather than only a slipping investor? What's your opinion?
Yeah, sure. So I've been an entrepreneur since I was about 23. One of my businesses is 25 years old now, and that's mainly in property, which is something that I still enjoy doing. You have to go through certain things to, as I said, find out your why. But if you are somebody new that's got an amazing idea and you love it, and you're looking for somebody to work with, I would say find a mentor. And the reason I'm saying that is 6 years ago, I was homeless. I became homeless and lost. I think I had several businesses and they were in the printing industry, the fashion industry. I was doing really, really well, but because I left a partnership, a relationship, I ended up becoming homeless and having, instead of 7 companies, I ended up having 0 because I couldn't get hold of them and I had no access. So I had to wait for the legal people to do their thing. Now, during that time, I allowed myself to get some rest, mental rest, because I was working 5 a.m. in the morning would I start and 2 a.m. the next day I would finish. And I did that for over 23 years. That's no way to live. That wasn't really a life. So don't focus on wanting to be that millionaire, because I've been there and it's cost me a lot of things. Focus on making your business successful and loving it and working with the right people, because the money will come. The money will come. I actually ended up, somebody reached out to me and said he wanted to mentor me. He wrote Think and Grow Rich, The Legacy. He's in America. Very successful person, but he saw something in me that he said that I couldn't see myself. And sometimes that's what happens. I know I've ran businesses since I was a very young person, but I wanted to do something else. I wanted to coach people. I wanted to use my business acumen and my business knowledge to help you go forward. And he gave me that faith, but he also said to me, break it down, as I said before, and have the heart of a business is always the accounts. It starts with the accounts. In my book that I've written, I've said, if you can have your eye on the ball on the accounts and keep an eye on that, then the rest of the business will rotate and it will always be fruitful, as opposed to working hard and chasing your tail and never making money. So you need a balance. So if you're out there looking for an investor or a mentor, you've got to get on with them. You've got to allow them to see your ideas. I don't particularly like statistics, I'm going to be completely honest. I like investors because they help you get to where you want to get to before, they help you escalate. But the investor's really going to be investing in you first. So ask yourself, are you the type of person? What kind of track record do you have? Are you a reliable person? Because if you've gone from job to job, opened, closed businesses, that doesn't look good on you anyway. As I said, I can stand up and say that I've been running a business after my short corporate adventure that I had. I did very well in a corporate company, but being an entrepreneur gives you that freedom of actually working when you want, and there's so much more to it. So if you've got the right personality, they're going to invest in you because it starts and ends with you. If you don't know your numbers, and if they say to you, well, how much do you need and why, where is this money going? If you haven't got your accounts head on and your bookkeeping head on, and to say, this is how much I've estimated I'm going to make. And also, paperwork's huge. To be organized from the onset is only going to help you come forward. I had people lined up literally to want to be coached by me. They saw something within me. They saw that I'd managed to turn my life around and they wanted to have that. So there's always a need, a supply and a need, wherever you are, whatever you're trying to provide. So when you have that supply, when you want to get your haircut, you go to the barbers or the hairdressers. They don't come to you, you go to them, and the right people will come to you when you're providing the right, whatever it is that you're trying to provide, service, I'll call it. Your investors equally will need to see that. So if you've got some people in the pipeline and you have written confirmation they're interested in your business, have all of that ready, because it provides the investors some proof, some guarantee almost that your business is going to work, because you've got Mr. Smith in England, in London, waiting on you to produce that service, and he's willing to put an advance order in with you if you can provide it. That's a real big thing for an investor, because the investor's not just providing money, they're providing time and they're providing effort. So you have to say to yourself, if I was an investor, would I invest in myself? And if you know that you wouldn't, or you wouldn't invest in your idea, then make some changes. Because as I said, everything has to be crystal clear. I use the word keep it simple, stupid, and that's not degrading. I've used it all my life in fashion, mainly with my designers, because they would make it really fancy and all the person wanted on the other end was a really easy slogan. So by keeping everything simple, straightforward, the investor's going to be able to see with clarity your accounts, where you're coming from, your idea, and who you are, because who you are is carrying that idea forward. I think that answers your question, Arijit, although I have a very tendency of going that way when I'm supposed to go that way. That's just me.
That's perfectly fine. To be very honest, let me give my small 2 cents into it. I would love to take things forward with an entrepreneur if there is a perfect kind of brain set matchmaking. So it's not about my money or our investors' money. It's about if we can make some disruption together. So the way we invest money, we never ever want to become a sleeping investor. Of course, we want to multiply our money. Of course, I would love to multiply our investors' money as well. As a strategic business, we have to do that. Otherwise, definitely the fund and the accelerator cannot grow. It needs to grow. Talking about the same point, if we look at the global investors, people who have invested money in various different countries, like, of course, we did that, so we know a little bit of nuts and bolts. But I would love to ask this specific question to both of my friends, Krishna and Hamid. When we look at a very specific kind of business, if it is not from technology, It is coming from probably a traditional business model, and they are willing to raise fund with a revenue stage, which they are earning. Maybe they are profitable, but they are pitching in front of the investors, just like you. In a very small nutshell, in 3 pointers, what are the key 3 things that you would love to see in a traditional business model so that they can become fundable? Not always all the traditional businesses are fundable, to be very honest. But what are the key 3 things that you'd love to see as a fundable investment business? I'll go with you, Hamid, first, and then Krishna second. Hamid, my friend, please.
But Krishna can start because his experience is more. Okay, let me tell you. About the traditional businesses, yes, we receive some, the startups and some plans, some proposal. At the first, honestly, we don't like to invest on the traditional businesses, okay? This is the first. But if we want to think more about it, the first one about the traditional is team for us. If the team is doing in the right way, is so trustable for us. Because as you know, for example, if we consider the new plan, the new startups is doing in the traditional way, for example, in the farming, if all the background is coming from the agriculture, yes, it's so trustable because they are doing, for example, from 100 years ago. But if just only 3 or 4 young people, they didn't have any experience about the agriculture, and now they have the new idea based on the traditional way, we cannot trust on them. The first one is team and their experiences. The second one, as all investors need, is profit. If the team is good, they can make the profit, okay? And honestly, I didn't think about the third one, but just this 2 is enough for us. If the team for the traditional way, and also the second one is the more profit.
Super. Krishna, my friend.
Yeah, thanks. So first, I would like to say one thing, right? Whenever we invest, look at repeatability, like, how your business is doing, and are you able to repeat that same business? How certain it is, right? So the more certainty you can bring, it makes it less risk, kind of risk averse for us. So if you take, for example, a SaaS-based startup, right? You know that you're looking at MRR, then ARR. So it should continue to grow from, say, month 1, month 2, so on, and also year 1, year 2, so on. If it doesn't, then it's a red flag. So it's something that they have assumed isn't working, and they have to go back to the drawing board to see what went wrong, right? So besides what my friend Hamid said, I would also look at repeatability as a third point, right? And overall, I want to also tell you one more thing, right? This whole ecosystem, there's a topic today. The investment works like a baton relay, right? So I always talk about this in every event. So let's say like you get a seed level investment from a group of investors. They have run the race, say it's not 4 into 100, but 4 into 400. So they run up to 400 meters and they run out of breath. They need to pass the baton to some other investor. It could be a super angel, for example, or a family office. They run some distance and they're out of breath. So they need to hand it over to somebody. So this is the way it works. And every stage, like I said, the investor coming in takes on all the load of the previous investors and then carries it along so that it is a collective ecosystem approach. Everybody in the ecosystem has to help. And overall, right, whether it's a mentor, incubator, accelerator, all that we're talking about is the ecosystem, and everybody plays a role. They chip in a little bit, I would say, and then help the startup to go to the next level, right? So that is in a nutshell what I want to say is that in the sector that you're looking for, how much help are you getting, from for example, Hamid mentioned about agri-tech. So is there an ecosystem for that can help this entrepreneur? And that also is a decision. So you can make a decision. Yes, there is a good ecosystem to support it. Then, it's a good, let's say, investment opportunity. On the other hand, something is developing. For example, you hear a lot about metaverse and all that. It's nice, but then it's too much risk because there's no ecosystem. And you're getting into a territory which is unknown, right? So why would you put your hard-earned money, whoever's money it is, right? Why would you put into something which you have no knowledge about, and how it's going to evolve, how it's going to, say, maybe it can fail, right? All these things can happen. So you go into a path which is more certain and help the investors to make money, make wealth. So that is the way it works.
Great. I guess we can continue this discussion for the entire night and day. I'm sure it is daytime in USA, but I believe that we had only 25 minutes and I already overshoot the entire panel, overshoot around 5 minutes. So really, really sorry for 5 minutes overshoot. But frankly, Prashun, my friend, it's a really thriving and energetic panel. So I couldn't stop myself to ask question to all the panelists. I hope that every one of you have enjoyed it. And the person who asked the question, Dr. Hari, he got the answer. And no, I guess there is a congratulation from Dr. Hari. And thank you so much for all the panelists to come here and share their insights. Thank you, WISE, for the beautiful platform that they have created to help and encourage all the entrepreneurs. It is true that without the ecosystem, things cannot move. An ecosystem, I believe, every ecosystem has its own role and own strength. Instead of fighting with each other, if you are an ecosystem player, people usually handshake with each other. Everybody has its own strength and weakness. Instead of talking about weakness, if we handshake with all the strengths, weakness becomes completely zero. That's what I think we all are doing. Yes, Krishna, you want to say something?
Yeah, I want to say there's a nice tagline we use: why compete when you can collaborate?
True. So this is the best part that I think we can summarize. Let's collaborate with each other. Let's grow with each other's strength and probably can define the weakness in a way so that the weakness becomes less visible to the world and the strength becomes more and more, so that we create the world beautiful, we create the ecosystem beautiful, we make the entire financial model more strong, stable, and smooth. With this note, thank you so much for joining us, listening to us, asking questions, and giving us blessings. Thank you so much. Thank you, WISE, for the beautiful platform.
Nice to meet you, my friend. Have a good time. Bye-bye.
Thank you all.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much.
We had an energy panel. Thank you.
Can I just say something before I go?
Go ahead, Nina. Go ahead, Nina.
You know, women always have to have the last word. You should know that.
Always.
You always have the first word.
I'm the last. I just wanted to say to the people that are here that are wanting to learn that, you know, as I said, you might not know who he is, but Conor McGregor is one of my people that I work with. He's a very famous UFC fighter. And when he first started, he was a trainee plumber. And he went on to becoming one of the world's most famous fighters. And he didn't do it on his own. He had the belief in himself, but he had a whole team of people around him, one telling him how to hit the pads, one telling him how to strike, one telling him about something else. So it takes more than one person to push a car, I'm going to say it that way. So don't be afraid, don't try and do it by yourself. There is support out there, and don't stop believing in who you are and your vision. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. That's amazing. Thank you, Arijit, for this. I was just saying that today we started with the energy panel, but the real energy is right in this panel. Thank you. Thank you very much. And yeah, looking forward to.
Thank you. Bye.
Continuing this conversation. Thank you. Cheers.
Bye-bye.